Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to N5 series. It's me, N, and tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about National Book Day. Now, I know that National Book Day was last week, Sunday, but my new book to the series that I'm going to be covering tonight didn't come yet, so I wanted to wait, and a lot of other life things happened and caused things to get postponed, but that's life, right? Tonight, we're going to be talking about King of Wrath, the book that I read twice that I absolutely love by Ana Huang, and I think I butchered the last name and I truly apologize. Along briefly, Kings of Pride. This book is an opposite attract, forbidden romance, blackmail, juiciness, okay? Juiciness. The story is based out of New York, with elites, billionaires, people who have the social parties. Is mainly surrounding two characters, Vivian and Dante. Dante is a strict, stern businessman who either despises feelings or doesn't want to acknowledge them. Dante is the CEO and not the funder. His grandfather is the founder of the Russo group, and he's jealous. I forgot to tell you that. Like, you will see several times throughout this book how he is jealous. This is what the book looks like. Short read, approximately 380 pages with the epilogue, 372 without it. It's super quick read, like it's back to back, juicy, juicy, juicy. That's how my books have to be, just like my movies. If there's a lot of talking and if there's like a slow unfold, like I won't be able to stay attracted to the book, but that's just me. So this definitely did it for me. So Vivian, she's an elegant, classy, she's sassy. She's dying to please her parents, so she's like the mold of who her parents want to be, like swallowing up who she is. Vivian, she is the daughter of Francis of Lau Jules, who blackmailed Dante because Dante's younger brother Luca, who is irresponsible, reckless. Oh, I also forgot to tell you that Dante is ruthless. He is a ruthless guy. Nothing messes with what's his, okay? He does not play that. Okay. So it's because of Luca, and there was some photos involved. And then when it got a hold to Francis, goes Dante, he's like, okay, so I found these pictures of your brother hooking up with the mafia princess. So just imagine these getting into the father's hands. Your brother's gonna die. And then Dante's like, I don't want him to die. So Francis is like, okay, so you gotta marry my daughter, Vivian. So Francis company, he cares about status. He sent off his other daughter to some guy, I don't know. They briefly talk about that in the book, but I didn't really care about that part. I was more focused on Vivian and Dante, their thing. It wasn't easy for the sister and her guy to get along with each other or whatever and whatnot, but after time they did. And then so Vivian is like the prized daughter, like the prized sheep that you sell off. She's a sheep, here you go, here's my daughter. Dante agrees because he doesn't want his brother to die, and he already doesn't like her because he's the daughter of the dad. Vivian, she's digging him. She's digging the look. She's digging the voice. She's digging all, from the jump. He popped over at their house for dinner, and it was just it was told at dinner. It's like, yeah, you're gonna marry my daughter. She's gonna marry you. The marriage is within a year, and then she's moving into your place 2 weeks from today. Already from the jump, it sounds freaking crazy. Get married, learn to know somebody, all within a year, that already don't like each other, that's forced into it. So Vivian has Isabella. She's the crazy friend that pops off at the mouth. And she has another girlfriend named Sloane that they all just go out together. Vivian's a bartender. She's also a writer. They don't really talk much about Sloane much in her career or anything like that. That I recall, because there's so much that happens in this book. When Vivian moves into the house with Dante. He shoves her like all the way in the back room, like the back of the house. And he twice throughout the entire book is like, it's business, nothing else. Don't expect nothing from me. Don't think I'm gonna touch you, kiss you, all that, all of the stuff. Okay, not gonna happen. She gets it stuck in her head. Okay, and then she's like, okay, right? After a guy tells you like it's business and that's it, you get it. You get the point. Then he starts to get jealous. He like guys that look at her, like guys that talk to her, like, yeah, no, this is my fiance. Bro, we agreed that this is business. This is business. Nothing more, remember? Eventually, she threw it up in his face several times, like darts. He couldn't take it. He shuts down a lot. Just throughout, there's a lot of back and forth, tension rising and trying to bubble up. And just, it gets pretty fiery. There's one final character, Heath, who is Vivian's ex, that the parents of Vivian did not approve of because he didn't have money. And she's like, yeah, you can't do anything. But because marrying a Russo will get them like social status, they get to go to all the parties. So then Heath, circle back to Heath, comes to New York and visits her. The way it was showed up in the book is that she was somewhere and he just popped up and was like, oh yeah, hey Heath, what's going on? Well, she didn't say that. He was like, what's up, Vivian? I jumped something. So she told her ex that she was getting engaged to someone else. And because he also saw the news. And then I'm like jumping all over the place, and I'm so sorry. There's so much that happens in the book. She told him that she was engaged. And then after that, they didn't talk at all anymore. So Heath comes back into the picture. He shows up at this one place that him and Vivian used to always go to. I mean, it was some public place. And then he was like, oh, it was nice to see you or whatever, blah, blah, blah. After they'd been broken up for approximately 4 years, either 2 or 4 years, one of those two numbers, sends her flowers, a bunch of flowers, roses. I think he said, thought about you at midnight. Thought about you at midnight. Something, love, Heath. P.S. I'm here if you ever change your mind. Isabella, she thought they were from Dante because at that point when she got the roses, they were like, they came to a truce where they got along or whatever, because I think they definitely showed that they liked each other. Spending all the time in an environment together, being just around each other, having those separate conversations and stuff. So I mean, it's kind of like bound to happen. The explosion. She found out the blackmail from Dante, which I find fair, but it was yelling to Frances about it. Her dad, see, I'm not gonna go through every part of the book because it's such a good book, you should read it. I'm speaking on my favorite parts. It was so bad. And then he said some like really just, I never wanted her, and like all this stuff. And I'm like, ooh. She heard that, internalized it, and broke the engagement off, gave him the ring back, never spoke to him again. Heath gets his ass kicked by Dante because Dante's a jealous guy that is mad at himself for liking Vivian. Don't be mad that you like her. And after all this blows over, Luca doesn't talk to the Mafia princess anymore, ends up dating this lady named Leaf Green who's helping him do some inner work, which I truly appreciate, as self-development is always good. He grew a brain. He's like, you know, you've been my big brother. You need to go get what makes you happy. So he chases down, well, he doesn't like chase down Vivian. So he just shows up at this coffee place that Vivian normally goes to. And he's like, oh, I'm Dante. Just despite all of everything that happened, he just stuck his hand out, like start off fresh, like acting. I totally understood it. He hounded her for her number, and then they go on a real date. The book ends. He asked her to marry him officially, like at the end of the book. And I thought that was pretty great. So the other sub-romance this leads me into book 2. So the second side romance that was like briefly touched on was Kai and Isabella. Kai is Dante's friend that he boxes with. And because like he was side-eyeing Isabella throughout the book. There was like one part where he was like watching her turn around and like the bar stool, and he's like watching her. This is it. And so it's based around Kai and Isabella, like very little romance going on. It's another short read. The book smells great out of the package. It smells good. The pages are thick, and I like that. The thickness. Another forbidden. She's where he works, and who he is, and versus her, and where she works, who she's associated with. It's gonna be messy, and it's gonna be so good. So that's it. Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, like it. If you want to subscribe. If you read this book, please let me know what your favorite parts were in this book down in the comments. And I will see you next week.